She measured the distance twice, proved she was legal, and still got shoved against her car while the sheriff sneered, "You people think rules don't apply to you." Phones filmed as he mocked her calm, ignored the tape measure, and slapped cuffs on her wrists for daring to be right. The crowd watched. The badge smiled. The lie hardened into an arrest. He thought humiliation would teach obedience. He thought silence meant weakness. What he didn't know was this. The woman he paraded as a criminal had spent her life dismantling officers exactly like him, and this time the law was about to turn its teeth inward. She parked carefully, stepped back, and measured the distance herself before the sheriff even spoke. When he arrived, he didn't look at the curb or the hydrant. He looked at her. "You people always push limits," he said loudly, as if the street were a courtroom and he was the judge. Heads turned, phones lifted. The first humiliation landed before she said a word. She explained calmly that the law required 15 feet. She showed the tape measure. 18. The evidence was visible to everyone. The sheriff waved it away. "I don't need numbers to know a violation," he sneered. "I know disrespect when I see it." Laughter rippled from the sidewalk. The truth lay on the pavement. Ignored. That was the second humiliation, being right and punished for it. When she asked him to measure again, his face hardened. "Now you're being difficult," he said. "Obstruction." The word carried weight. His partner shifted behind him. The sheriff raised his voice so the crowd could hear. "This is what entitlement looks like." The tape measure snapped back into her hand. The third humiliation arrived, sharper than the others, being framed as a threat for staying calm. She reached for her phone slowly, announcing every movement. He stepped closer anyway. "Hands behind your back," he ordered. "You want to argue, you can do it in a cell." The cuffs clicked. The crowd gasped. Someone whispered that she should have just apologized. Someone else said she was lucky it wasn't worse. Silence followed her as she was guided to the car, accused of something she had disproven in plain sight. In the back seat, she sat upright and still. The sheriff addressed the bystanders. "This is what happens when people don't respect law enforcement." Cameras kept rolling. He mistook compliance for surrender. He mistook restraint for fear. The car pulled away, leaving the measured tape and scattered papers behind. At the station, the humiliation continued quietly. Paperwork listed charges that bent language until it lied. Bail was set high enough to sting. Requests for basic consideration were denied with a shrug. "This isn't a hotel," the sheriff said, smiling without warmth. He wanted the night to teach her something. He wanted her to break. She didn't. She waited. She watched. She remembered every word. Somewhere outside those walls, the video spread. Viewers paused at the tape measure. Commenters replayed the moment he said, "You people." The sheriff scrolled through messages on his phone and dismissed them. He had worn a badge for decades. He trusted it more than the truth. By morning, the station felt different. Phones rang and went unanswered. A deputy picked up the scattered documents from her intake tray and paused, eyes widening as he read. He said nothing, but his posture changed. Another officer whispered into a handset, then glanced at her with a look that wasn't pity. It was recognition. When she was brought out, the sheriff stood waiting, confident and irritated. "We'll process you and move on," he said. She met his eyes steadily. "Before you do," she replied, "you should check who you arrested." The room stilled. He laughed once. "I know exactly who you are." She didn't argue. She asked for a call and placed it on speaker. A voice answered immediately, familiar with urgency. She gave her location, her name, and one sentence of context. On the other end, silence turned heavy. Then the voice said, "Document everything." She ended the call and slipped the phone away. The sheriff's smile faded. A supervisor entered, then another. A tablet appeared on the desk, displaying the video, the measurement, the ordinance. Numbers didn't bend this time. The supervisor read her credentials aloud, each word landing like a weight. The room shifted. Authority drained from the sheriff's stance and pooled at his feet. "Release her," the supervisor said. The sheriff protested, then stopped. He saw it then. The audience had changed. The law he wielded had turned around and was looking back at him. She stepped forward, uncuffed, calm as before. He searched her face for mercy and found none. Outside, cameras waited. Questions flew. She spoke once, clearly, without heat. She named the violation, the evidence ignored, the escalation chosen. She explained what would happen next, not as a threat, but as a fact. The sheriff stood behind her, smaller than he had been an hour earlier, exposed by his own words. Later, alone at the curb, she checked the distance again. 18 feet, still legal, still true. She started the car and left him with the record he had written for himself. The law doesn't care who you think you are. If that humiliation turned your stomach, like and share this story. Comment the exact moment that made you pause and tell us where you're watching from. Subscribe and turn on notifications for more stories where silence becomes power, lies collapse in public, and dignity answers arrogance without mercy.